What is going on, peeps? Shiz here, coming back with another episode of Should I Buy It? Let's get going. So what I have today is some DayZ. I thought it was appropriate to cover. It's been on Steam's top 10 sellers for, I think, since it came out as a standalone. For any of you who have not seen these videos, what I do is I take a game, I get into it from a player's perspective, not a critic's. This is not a review. It's more of an overview and introduction. So I kind of just cover the basic mechanics, what you can expect once you purchase the game and jump into it, and just, you know, the basics and kind of just about the story and anything else that I feel you should know to help you make the decision on whether you want to drop the money on it or not. Let me waste my money so you don't have to. Let's get going today with some DayZ. So you boot it up, you get a big warning right off the bat that it's early access. It's early access alpha. Many bugs. They're still ironing them out. They're still working on it. Many people complain that it's been too slow for their liking and everything else. I mean, it's, you know, it is what it is. They are transferring this game onto a new engine that should be easier to update, more intuitive, better for the general player. Right now it's on the Armed Assault 2.5 engine, 2 or 2.5 anyway. So if you've played Armed Assault, you will be very familiar with this game. So this is the main menu. Right away you can see, you can fuck with your character, change his look, that kind of thing. I recommend keeping him earth-toned, better camouflage, dark colors. Your name will be in the bottom right corner. Right away, you can click on it, you can change it. It's probably going to have your first name that's linked to your Steam account, so I highly recommend you change it right off the bat if you don't want people knowing your first name anyway. You can click play, which I have never done, to tell you the truth. I do believe that just throws you into a random server. I always try to jump into a server of my liking, one that I would like to play on. So I'm going to get going. Let's jump into a server. I'm sure we've all seen something like this before. It's your standard browser. I have some favorited servers. So it's important to note the names of the servers you're playing on. And why I say this is because there's been times, and it's probably an early access thing, you know, certain servers will not save your data. So even if it says persistent, I've had situations where I've been playing on one for a couple hours, I've logged off, I've logged back in the next day, everything's good. I log onto a different server, I lose everything my guy had on him, and was forced to restart. There's also been times where I lost everything my guy had him. I said to myself, oh shit, log out. I think there's a 3-minute save is why it works like this, but I logged back into servers that I was used to playing on, and I had all my shit back. So what I recommend to you as a new player right off the bat, choose a good set of servers that have good ping, the right amount of players that you want to play with, and try to stick with them. Hive, that'll always be public from what I've seen. They're all listed as public for now, as long as you have like a non-passworded kind of server, which I filter out. I don't want to see full servers or passworded servers. That's my setting. It has your standard filter options you can use down in the bottom left there. Mode, first or third person, or first person. First and third person would be what we once knew as normal. First person would have been what we once knew as hardcore. So the only difference between these is the view. We all know that third person, you can look around corners, you can look over walls, you can see spots that you wouldn't normally be able to see if you were stuck in a first person view. Version, that's the version of the game in its current state. I am playing this with the newest update. They just hit it, I think, yesterday. So 49.124971. There's been many changes. I've heard it's got a little more difficult and firearms a little more sparse. There's temperature effects now, so you have to stay warm, which wasn't the case earlier. Rain, even though it said you were wet before, it didn't do anything. So these are just rollouts for, you know, an early access type of game. Whether they all make sense or all blend nicely together yet, doesn't matter. It's early access, don't complain. Just play it, enjoy it, don't bitch. It's $30 and you're gonna know right off the bat that it's early access, so just take it for what it is. It's fun. I'm going to tell you that right away. If you have the patience and some people to play with, this game is amazing. Obviously, by what for survival games, I don't like to just say it's amazing because that sounds like a review, but for a zombie survival game, it's fantastic. The next spot here we have time, so that is the server time, not where the server is located, but the actual time in game. So it's important to note that if you start in late evenings, jump in, that's where it's like 5:40. I think that's starting to get dark. So visibility is next to none. You can always jack your gamma in these situations. I personally don't like doing that. I find it just takes away from the game. But if you're new, please start in a first, third person. Middle of the afternoon's great. Just to get used to it. You're gonna be fucking around with the controls for probably the first hour that you get into DayZ to try to get the controls right, to try to learn them. There's no tutorials. It's a hard game to pick up, but once you have it, breezy. Friends, it'll tell you right off the bat if friends are in the game. You also have a friends tab up top, where if you have a friend on Steam that's playing a game, you can just go and jump right in there. And then your other basics: history, LAN, remote. Players, the amount of players that are in the server, and ping, pretty straightforward. We all know what all that means. So I'm going to refresh it once more here before we jump in. Note that DayZ is on a area called, it's a map called Chernaris. It's rural Russia. It's enormous to run across it. There's no vehicles in DayZ right now, but I'm talking 200, 250 square kilometers with lots of coast, rolling hills, towns, villages, army bases. It's got all kinds of cool shit like that I'm sure you've seen in videos if you've watched any. There's hot spots, of course, where players always seem to go to get the best weapons and everything else, so I consider them danger zones and try to stay away from them right off the bat until I have, first of all, enough pocket space to carry whatever I'm going to be picking up over there, and some appropriate food and everything else to last me the trek. What I'm going to do today is I want to jump into a low pop server, just so I'm not more focused around getting sniped by a bandit or anything. I want to focus on the video, so I kind of want to keep my attention on that. So let's find one here. One player, sure, gameservers.com, first, third person, 3:50 in the afternoon. So bam, loads you in, you start in first person. Okay, there isn't much of a HUD. You have your bar at the bottom, which will disappear in a second. Let's throw it into third. Okay, so I have geared up. When you start with nothing. After the patch, I think you start naked. Please correct that in the comments below. But when the patch hit, I started naked when I spawned. So, I was geared. I had an AK with a bipod and a scope and drum magazines. Fucking lost it all. But such is the nature of the game. Can't complain. We've been warned that this is how it works. You'll see you have status effects in the bottom left corner. My current ones being, I am cold, I am shaking. If you open your inventory, they're listed here. It says, you know, I am shaking will not be listed here, but that's just an effect of being cold. It'll show if you're hungry. Let's open a can of tuna. Right-clicking is your best friend. Also, dragging and dropping works very well. If you can merge items and everything else, like if you have 2 water bottles in your inventory and one is half full and the other's half full, you can pour them in together. You can merge stacks of bullets. You can create things, whether it's a backpack out of a burlap sack, a couple sticks and some rope, or you know, spray paint your gun, drag your spray paint onto your gun. There's so many things to do in this game. Let's eat all of this. It's important to know that when you do things like this, the eating noise, the drinking noise, if there's people around you, they're going to hear you doing that. So keep that in mind. What I want to get to today is we're not going to, probably won't run into players because this map is so damn big and we only have a few playing on it. But I'll show you a bit of kind of zombie play and a bit of scavenging and what it consists of. When your weapon's out, If you've played Armed Assault 2, you can raise it with your spacebar, lower it. If you want to swing it, you have to raise it first. Okay? Lower it, put it away. You can crouch, you can prone, you can roll, you can go forward prone, you can go forward faster prone. We'll go back to crouch, you can go forward faster. You can slow right down, which doesn't help your noise that much. I don't even remember my key. Yeah. Anyway, there's an even slower pace that you can kind of crawl along. You got to know the key to push it, obviously. So what I'm doing now, I'm going to keep my weapon out. Just hit the number. You'll see your inventory here. Each one of these, they don't show it, but at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Just use your numbers on your keyboard. It's always a good idea to keep a low profile. You'll notice I'm just kind of running around right now. There's a zombie. Let's do a bit of scavenging before I jump into combat here. Okay, you can go in almost every structure. Take the crowbar. I always like a crowbar more than my... you can drag onto your hotbar here to use anything in an instant. This clink, 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 clink. There's players around. They're going to hear you do that. It's important. Oh, a machete. Even better. You can double click. We'll pick up an item. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to equip it. Let's drop the crowbar. Let's put the machete here. Got a chem light. Don't need. First aid kit. That's always beauty to find right off the bat. Take it. Double clicking takes. What else we got? Mold shoes. I don't need that. Axes are your best friend. They seem to do more damage and have better reach than any other weapon. There's enough guns in this, but they're very hard to find. Not only do you have to find the gun, but you have to find ammo. And then if it's the type of gun that takes magazines, not only do you have to find ammo, but you have to find magazines to use it. So very important as you're traveling around, don't run right across fields, don't run right down the middle of town. You're probably going to be spotted. Players in DayZ are ruthless. They generally won't spare your life. You can do things like put your hands up, you know, maybe even throw them a wave, or maybe even... Oh, that's it. Throw them the bird, right? A big fuck off if you don't want to comply. So you'll see as the status effects are popping up here, soaked and cold. These aren't a good combination. This can, as far as I know, eventually kill you. So fires can warm you up, dry clothes can warm you up. Should we go get it? Let's get it. I'll show you some DayZ combat. It's fucked. I'm probably going to bleed. Going after a zombie like this just with a melee weapon is not a smart move. Try to avoid zombies. You get nothing for killing them. They only get in your way. They don't drop shit, last I heard. Maybe that changed in 0.49. They don't always die with your first swing either. No, see, and that's all part of the bugginess of DayZ. Alright. See, I've got my canteen out. That's, again, what the fuck is with that? Get used to it. DayZ's like that. So there's gonna be things going on that you don't know why the hell it happened. This fucking zombie won't die. And there it is. That's melee combat in a nutshell. Now, if you have more than one zombie and you're trying to take him out with something like that, good luck. You're gonna bleed. If you bleed, you can always patch yourself up with rags. You right-click, use, and you'll start bandaging. We've got another bandana here, so I'm going to take that. I'm going to tear it into rags, and I have more rags. We shouldn't drag because it'll turn them all nasty, but whatever. Lower condition rags can lead to infection. There's all kinds of status effects that can pop up there. Hungry, thirsty. You can break limbs, which you can then try to repair with some sticks, and you got to make a splint or find some morphine. You can do blood transfusions if if you've lost too much blood and your screen goes gray. Double click takes it right. Fucking machete sucked. Damaged. Each item has a condition. As you take damage, the lower in condition. As you use them more, the lower in condition. Every piece of clothing you have on, depending on the condition of it and what type of clothing it is going to provide certain degrees of protection. So once again, I'm not playing smart right now. I'm running around like a fool. I'm not checking corners. I'm not taking it slow. I'm just fucking running because I want to show you what's going on. You can't open all buildings, but most buildings you can. To run with your weapon up like that takes more energy. You'll tire quicker. Keep it down. You'll run even faster if you just straight out put it away. That's a gas stove. I don't generally pick those up. I find boiling water never seems worth it to me. I always seem to... You'll see there open canned peaches with machete. If you don't have a can opener, you're going to have to resort to whatever weapon you're using. And from there, you're going to spill some. So here's a bottle of water, valuable as hell. Let's take it. Now you'll see I have 2 containers of water. You can merge them. Just drag it, pour, there. Then when I find a well, I'll put the canteen in my hands, use my handy dandy scroll wheel, because we all know if you've played Armed Assault 2 or DayZ, your scroll wheel is your best friend. You can't climb over walls yet. You can only hop over things like so. Oh, like so. The sun's going down. Here is a well. Perfect. Look at this. I can show you what's what. Canteen in the hands. Scroll wheel. You see we have fill bottle, drink all. Let's fill it. I have filled a canteen with water. Perfect. I'm hungry, so let's eat. Tuna. Eat all. If you're not hungry and you're running around, the more running, the quicker you're going to hunger and the more thirsty you will get. Then I usually I don't eat it all. I'll eat it in 25% increments to kind of just top up my energy before I have the chance to even get hungry. You can harvest berries. If you have an axe, you can also take kindling. If you fall from too high, that's when you're usually going to break a limb. If your limb takes too much damage from a zombie, that is when you may also break a limb. So going into towns generally will have more zombies and players, but it's important to know the most dangerous parts of DayZ are going to be the coast, because a lot of people spawn there, or did anyway. That could be different now. Military bases, because everyone wants to go there, and big cities, because they're usually loaded with all different kinds of loot, which, of course, we all want. Really important to close doors behind you as you go if you want to stay low-key and you don't want people to see where you are. Or where you've been, I should say. Books, I think you can just use to start fires. Did I hear a zombie? I may have heard a zombie. If that's the case, I'm going to run from the next zombie. Incoming zombie. So, if you don't have a melee weapon, you're gonna run. You're gonna want to run from the zombie. Don't fight him with your fists. You're gonna lose too much blood. You're probably gonna die. It's just gonna cause you grief. You're better off just running. Getting away. And that will usually mean ditching the town. Deking out between buildings and everything else does not help you in DayZ. You just gotta fucking run for your life. Run to the next town. Whatever, until the zombie forgets you. You have the free look, which is amazing. You need to bind a key to free look. As you're running forward, you'll be able to see, has the zombie left you? Is there players sneaking up behind you? It's probably one of the most important keys in this game. So if you can bear with the bugs, guys, it's a great game. It's fun. I mean, it's buggy as all sin, but if you just show it a bit of patience and get into it with some friends, it gets really fun. It does. It's a good immersive game. Roaming the countrysides, this map is enormous. It really does feel very rural, but peaceful at the same time, aside from the zombies, you know? Until you start running into people. There's only one other guy on this server, so I'm not too worried right now. I don't have to kind of stick to these sideways. I could probably run right through a field and be okay. But dang, watching it picked off there, no. Chances of that, too slim. Chances of anyone being out here in the middle of this field, you know, maybe they're off to the side, scoping it out, taking their time, watching where they're going, watching where everyone else is going, then you could be in trouble. So I am cold. I probably need to make a fire. This is all new. I'm not used to this status effect because when I played last, it didn't have it. You couldn't get cold. Fucking running around with the canteen in my hand. That's ridiculous shiz. A sewing kit, which you can use to mend clothing up to worn. So if you find something that's damaged or badly damaged, use a sewing kit on it, and it will bring it up to the worn condition. Oh shit, we have military boots. Yeah, let's take them. And a compass, also your best friend. You have a map open on another monitor or something. There are maps in game too. They're very hard to navigate, but you can find them. You want to stay true to the immersion and use your map and your compass to start navigating. So I'm going to generally want to head eastbound. The coast is east. I know there's a few bases on near the coast anyway. So to look at your compass, you're going to have to get into first person and raise it. East, according to this shitty, badly damaged compass, should be this way. If you put whatever you have equipped away and put your hands down, you're going to run even faster. It's the closest thing you'll get to a sprint. So, heading through the fields, again, populated server, be careful. Unpopulated, who gives a fuck. And that's it. That's DayZ. I'm sure there's been tons I didn't cover. You know, as far as what you can get other people, oh, you can handcuff people, you can take them captive, put a bag over their head, force feed them disinfectant, force feed them rubbing alcohol, you know, force feed them rotten fruit till they're sick. You know, being ill is a status effect in this. There's just so much to cover, so much to do. It's a great online game to jump in and out of. Note, there's no achievements or anything yet. There's no progression system other than the gear you're picking up. It's just get in, survive, kill or be killed. So I'm going to wrap it up there with a nice shot of the Chernaris in its beauty. And it goes on for miles, and it takes a fucking long time to run across. Again, no vehicles, but maybe one day. Maybe one day with the new engine, who knows. We'll see where Bohemia takes it. One thing we do know, DayZ's a hit. Lots of people play it. It's been on that top 10 selling. It's the only game I've seen stuck in the top 10 since it was released. It hasn't faltered once, as far as I've seen off that top 10 list. So if you like survival, if you like zombies, if you like difficult, if you liked Armed Assault 2 or any of the other Armed Assaults, you'll probably like DayZ. Around that, hope you enjoyed it, hope you get some use out of this video, and I really hope it helps you make a decision on purchasing DayZ. And on that note, I'm signing off. That's Shizwhack, all one word. Catch me on Twitter, Twitch TV, and YouTube. Have a great day, peeps. Thanks for watching. Peace.